Welcome back to Brush Up Your Game, and yes, Star Trek Alliance Dominion War Campaign Part 2 is, well, in the hands of a select few, but not these hands. Photos, however, are, and over the weekend, Stephen Van Deventer posted photos in the Attack Wing Facebook group. Sorry, had to actually remember what I was talking about there. So we are going to look at what comes in the box. Well, first off, two Galler class, a Dominion battle cruiser. I want to say battle cruiser, a Cavort, and a Vorcha, and I believe a Cavort, because you need durability. No Brels here. So up first, we get a few Federation cards because you can continue your Federation ships. So this is Coordinated Assault. It's 5-point elite talent, so you gotta keep going. And Coordinated Assault, unique. After attacking or defending, target a friendly ship within range 1 and spend a Battle Station Evade or Scan token from beside this ship. Place a copy of that token beside the target ship. So you're moving tokens around. Is that worth 5 points? Maybe. I could definitely see some use for it in terms of evading. Once you know you're the ship that's going to get all the shots tossed at it, you can use this to borrow, steal, beg for, however you want to use it. And it's reusable, right? This isn't a discard. It's not a time token. It's not even a disable. This just happens. So it's viable. I think it's a decent card. Battle Plan is a 4-point unique talent. When attacking, if the target is within range 1 of both this ship and at least one other friendly ship, add 1 battle station result to this ship's attack roll. So as long as you're taking battle stations, which is happening with Commander, is happening with, taking battle stations as your action, Battle Plan's not a bad talent to have. And I think there's definitely some good use here. Certainly a decent card outside of Alliance, and something I could see some good use of, especially with some of the new range extending talents we've seen. Then we get the Engineering Officer. This is kind of the one that was missing in the realm of officers. Perform action step, disable this card. Your ship may perform 1 action while having any Ox Power tokens beside it. Excelsior loves this because you want to do turns or a reverse and still have the ability to do an action. Is it worth 3 points? I don't know. Outside of Alliance, I don't see this getting much play, but inside of Alliance, yeah, I can see Engineering Officer being a worthwhile card. And it is an action. It's not just an action bar action. So, good flexibility. And extends shields. This in combination with reinforced shields from Alliance, where you get 2 bonus shields. Now you truly have a support ship. There's a lot of viable potential to these cards. And I am just going to change a little setting there, and now we can actually see cost, 3 cost card. So extend shields in phase. If you have 1 or more active shields, place 3 time tokens on this card. Place 1 Ox Power token beside this ship to target a friendly ship within range 1. This target ship repairs 1 shield. So it's not like absorbing damage, but the ability to repair some shields can be very helpful. And certainly I could see 2 ships in a large game using this to help each other keep extending the shields, borrowing shields, and it's not even borrowing. It's just saying, okay, you get a shield over here, so then you get a shield, and it's boosting your overall durability. It's not doing everything, but it really can help out. You bring Inspiring in as an elite talent, a real cheap elite talent, and then you can have that ability to remove the Aux Power tokens. Plus, you don't absolutely have to have it. You're getting Aux Power in the in phase. You do a green, you clear it off. I like Extend Shields. If you can't notice, I really actually like this card, and I think it's got a decent amount of play, definitely in mission play, alliance play. Does it have OP play? Probably not, but certainly some viability. All right, now we get into the Klingon cards, and I think to fully understand all of the Klingon cards, well, any given Klingon cards, we're going to have to really know the Klingon missions and everything working together. So this is going to be more about how do they fit with the style of alliance missions we've seen so far. But I'll give you my thoughts. As a science officer, for an action, you place a scan token beside the ship. Scan tokens are not things that most Klingon ships have. And then for 3 points. And you may remove a red target lock token from beside this ship and the corresponding blue target lock token. So you got to figure some of these beefier Dominion ships are going to be target locking, not just always taking a battle station. I figure Galler especially will have target lock since they don't naturally have battle stations. I think there's play here. This also is going to enable Klingons to do certain missions that require scan tokens. So, yeah, I like the double play here. I think this is a viable card. I don't think it's necessarily as good as the Science Officer getting you 2 scan tokens, but I can see the playability of it. Helmsman for 2 points, and I always like cheap crew here. Execute maneuver step. If this ship performed a non-red maneuver that did not overlap any ships or obstacles, disable this card, and perform any maneuver with a speed of 1 on this ship's maneuver dial. Okay, this I like. Getting an extra move is something that can come in really handy, especially when you're a higher skill captain. You get to see where some ships move, and then you get to react because of that. Even if it's doing a 1 straight, a 1 bank, this is going to be a bonus. I see a lot of helmsmen getting played. I wish there were 2 in the pack. Sadly, there are not. However, there are 2 tactical officers. And tactical officers, again, for 2 points, when attacking, if you have a red target lock on the ship you're attacking, you may spend it as if it were a battle station token. This is nice flexibility. This says, okay, you rolled 4 battle stations. Well, now you don't have to risk the reroll, you just get 4 hits. Flexibility, nice. And I consider this a viable include. Operations Officer, I believe our last crew. If equipped to a cavort, add +1 to this ship's agility value, and when defending, you may convert a battle station result into an evade. So you get that when defending conversion, no matter what ship you put it on. However, that's a really pricey 4 points to pay. Putting it on a cavort, I think that's playable. So, op officer, I can see it. I don't love it, but I certainly don't hate it. It's going to be nice while cloaked. I will say that. That's certainly not a bad include while cloaked. And then with the weapons officer. When attacking, disable this card. Convert one of your battle stations into a crit, and all of your other battle stations into hits. So kind of like Drex, except you're disabling instead of taking the action for the card. This actually will have a lot of viability, especially with Torpedo Fusillade, which is in this pack, spoilers. But yeah, I think Weapons Officer definitely lends herself to a very offensive type of build, and I love the include, and I'm definitely willing to pay the 4 points for her. And first officer. A lot of Klingon crew here. When attacking or defending, place one time token on this card. Convert one battle station into a hit or an evade. Love the flexibility. Wish it was more frequent. Wish it wasn't a time token. Would have been willing to pay even 5 points for that. In Alliance, playable. Outside of Alliance, probably not something I'm going to use. Whereas Weapons Officer outside of Alliance, definitely still playable. All right, our first talent, Reckless Assault. When attacking with this ship's primary weapon, if you are in the target's primary firing arc, and this is only at range 1, roll +1 attack die. Certainly a playable card, I would say that. It will happen in Alliance. You will be able to cloak Sensor Echo to get in range. You better make that shot count, because range 1 with these ships, they are brutal and they hit back hard. So, but yes, I actually like the talent. I don't love it, but I like it. Evasive maneuvers. Again, we're putting this on Cavort's Brels, maybe. My iconography is not great. I'm pretty sure that's Cavort. Let's see. Yeah, that's the same symbol. So Cavort only. When this ship spins an evade token, place one time token on this card, place one evade beside the ship. So you get one time, you get a second evade. That can be very useful. 4 points useful? Probably not for me, but we'll have to see how the missions play out. I'm certainly open to reevaluating my thoughts on it, and if I need a super defensive ship, this is definitely a way to go. Glory to the Empire. When attacking or defending, discard this card, reroll all your dice. 2 points? I'm happy with that. Definitely a defense cloaking save my butt roll, because I rolled 5 blanks and I'm a dead man if I don't get some evades. So I like it. I really do like the card. I think that there's a lot of good potential with it. All right, Fight with Honor. Klingon only, or Klingon ship only. In Alliance, not a problem, but outside of Alliance, problem. When attacking a ship with an equal or higher captain skill number than this ship, convert a battle station into a crit. So, you want a talent, but you want it as low as possible. So really, you want this as a skill 3, and only a skill 3. Yeah, I like it. I like it with Klingons. It's definitely going to play a good potential role. Klingons have a lot of good ways to get conversions, and I like that. I think this is a useful talent. I think this could be a useful talent outside of Alliance. I'm not loving it, but I'm definitely liking it, and liking it more than a fair number of cards here. Strafing Run. Now this can go on a Cavort or a Brel. Execute maneuver step. If your ship's base or maneuver template overlapped an opposing ship, roll 1 attack die. On a hit or crit, the opposing ship suffers 1 damage. So this is a very intriguing way to play. It's if you have this card, you are trying to cause havoc. The downside is, well, you want your maneuver template to overlap. You don't want your ship to overlap, ideally, because you still want your actions, but you want your maneuver template to do it. And yeah, I can see this being fun. I don't know that this is going to be the be all end all of things, but I can see this is a nice talent you take because there's just a lot of ships on the board and you're going to cause problems. I definitely see this being better with more players, because then there's more ships and there's more opportunity for this card to come into play. And then we have Eye for an Eye. When defending, deal damage step. If this ship suffers a face-up damage card and the attacking ship is in your primary firing arc, discard this card to deal the attacking ship 1 face-up damage card, even if it has active shields. So, let's unpack that. If you take a crit and you have them in your arc, you deal a crit back to them. You could kill a ship with this ability. This is going to happen because you're cloaked, right? I think this is one of the best talents for Klingons because you're able to inflict damage that might kill a ship, might cause them problems in the future. And it's a way of messing up the AI. There are 2 copies of this in the pack. I think this is definitely a card that is worth consideration. I'm not going to say it's everything, but I think it's definitely worth a look when you're making your builds. So, yeah, you just have to know you're taking damage. This is not, Alliance is not a game where you can sit there and go, oh, I'm never going to take damage. I'm going to fly around and be perfect. No, you are going to get shot. You are going to scrape by. And you just have to make the best of this, make the best of a bad situation. And then we have Forward Battery. This is your Vorcha and Negvar card. This is a weapon. When defending, declare target step. If the attacking ship is in your primary firing arc, roll 1 attack die. On a hit or crit result, deal 1 damage to the attacking ship before it attacks. So they have 1 hole left. You deal the damage, gone, no attack. You deal a crit, stunned helmsman, now they don't attack. I mean, these are rare situations, right? But you have to consider what's possible here. Now, this is 5 points. This is 5 points for limited opportunities. So is it the only card you're taking? No, probably not. But again, massive player game. You're trying to put a ship that's going to be in the middle, hanging out there, running some of these reinforcements, some I'm going to stay alive cards. You'd have Forward Battery being in the disruptive mode. I can see this being a card, being a play. Disruptor Overcharge, only going on a Vorcha, mind you. When attacking with this ship's primary weapon, roll attack dice step. If you rolled at least 1 crit, add a hit to the result, to the total. I'm good. I'm good with this. Vorcha, roll a decent amount of dice. Roll 5 naturally, range 1, roll 6. Fairly likely to roll a crit. Take target lock. Make yourself a little more likely to make those rolls for 3 points. Giving myself an extra hit. I'm down to at least try it to see what happens. Is this the be-all, end-all of crits or of weapons to bring outside of Alliance? No, probably not. But combine Disruptor Overcharge with the Weapons Officer, the one that you're disabling to give yourself a crit, guaranteed crit. Now you're giving yourself those conversions, crit, hits, extra hit. There's a nice little build here. 2 copies of Photon Torpedoes. These are primary weapon value +1, disable, forward, rear arc, and you can convert a blank into a crit. They're not amazing, right? These aren't time token torpedoes. I wish they were. But they're range 2 to 3 torpedoes. They give you extra attack dice. Klingon torpedoes hit hard. You're looking at rolling 5, 6 dice. These are good. Are they worth 3 points? Yeah, probably. But they require some setup. You got to have a target lock. You're going to disable. Then you got to re-enable. You got to get another target lock. They're not going to fire all the time. And there's not a lot of ways to speed it up. But there's still some ways. And yes, I alluded to it. There is a copy of Torpedo Fusillade here. And I am so happy there's a copy of Torpedo Fusillade. It has made a card that's not the most impossible to get a hold of, but a little impossible. And it's brought it back in the game. So the cost and attack value of this weapon are equal to the ship's primary weapon. When you attack, you remove the card from the game, target all opposing ships. Make a separate attack roll against each target ship at range 2 to 3 in your forward firing arc. This is unique. You only get one for the whole fleet. But oh boy, this could make a big difference in some of those missions. Some of those missions where you're like, which one of the 4 ships do I want to shoot? All of them. I want to shoot all of them. I'm going to make it hurt. Klingons now are your swarm killers. And they always have been with this card. But now they really have the extra means to make it hurt. Converging Fire. Again, Vorcha, Negvar only. Combat phase, friendly ships may treat your target lock tokens as their own. That's fun. I like that. I wish it wasn't Vorcha Negvar only, because those are ships that want their target locks. But there's times where those ships aren't going to need their target lock. They might be out of position. They might have rolled really well. You have a ship that's in a better firing position and they really need the target lock. This is a way to set up photon torpedoes to work more frequently. Yeah, see? I told you there was a way. This is teamwork. Alliance is really all about teamwork. Sometimes you're taking a card to make a build that says, it's not about me. I'm going to have stuff that's going to help you out. You might have stuff that's going to help me out. We're going to be in position to do this kind of stuff. Converging Fire, perfect example of that. Again, outside of Alliance, is it massively playable? No, but I could actually see a little bit of it with the Vorcha play. Negvars don't get played well at all. They're just a little too pricey, but Vorchas do. So I like it. I really do. Secondary relays. When this ship would disable a weapon upgrade, if you do not have any aux power tokens beside the ship, you may place an aux power token beside the ship instead. Well, there's how you get to use torpedoes more frequently. So, secondary relays on your torpedo ship, converging fire on a friendly ship, and you can fire torpedoes every single round and have battle station quality, because you take your own battle stations or weapons officer, re-enable your weapons officer, and have a friendly target lock and secondary. Yeah, see, there's a build. If it wasn't clear, I like secondary relays. Cheap card. Is it massively playable outside? No, because I think time tokens are more viable and Kilana is a bigger combo, and Klingons just don't have a lot of tech. Room for tech. Reactor vent, 4 points. Again, ship unique. Combat phase. If there's an opposing ship within range 1, you may spend an aux power token from beside this ship to roll 1 attack die. On a hit or crit result, discard 1 shield token from the opposing ship. So this is at the start of the combat phase. So how do you get yourself an aux power token at the start of the combat phase? Well, that's going to be down to your movement. Klingons don't have a ton of red for movements, but they have a couple. And maybe there's some abilities that would give you aux power as well. So, yeah, I think this is okay. I think, if anything, this might be slightly overpriced, just slightly. But, yeah, it's there. Targeting array. You can have 2 blue target lock tokens, and when you perform a target lock action, you may perform an additional target lock action against different opposing ship. Well, 2 different opposing ships within range. So that with converging fire. Yeah. So now friendly ships can treat your target lock tokens as their own. Targeting array, you have 2 target locks that friendly ships can use. Yeah. See, it works together. Josh, I love what you've done here. I love the synergy. It's oozing with synergy the builds are making themselves. Secondary cloaking coil. Action, discard this card. Repair 1 shield token. If you have the cloak action on the ship's action bar, you may cloak as a free action. Limits. This is probably a card I'm not seeing the potential of it yet. Or it's more... I don't play cloaking this way. So this isn't a card that's going to suit my play style. but I do understand the whole, okay, I'm going to come out of cloak, I'm going to take some damage. Maybe I lose all my shields. Now I wish I could cloak. Oh, I have secondary cloaking coil. So now I can repair a shield and I can go back to cloaking. But I want my shields while I cloak. But I know that's a scimitar ability, not a secondary cloaking coil. Anyway, reinforced hull. Add +2 to this ship's hull value. For 2 points. This card. Oh, this card. This card has massive playability outside of Alliance. Inside of Alliance, it's great, right? Adding hull to your Cavorts, your Vorcha, your Nagvar, it's going to help, right? This is great. And we're happy. We're happy because more durability, very good thing. But outside of Alliance, now you have, well, Borg getting more hull for 3 points. You have Federation ships getting more hull for 3 points, and they have the tech slots to do it. There's so much potential for this. All right, passive sensors. In phase, if you did not attack this round, place a scan token on this card, max of 1. Free action, place a scan token from this card beside the ship. It works nicely round 1. You get a scan token, you're going to have that scan token later. I can see it being played. I don't love it, but I think it's okay. And then we have enhanced thrusters. This is going on your Burrell's Cavorts for 5 points. Execute maneuver step when this ship performs a bank 2 or 3. You may treat that maneuver as a red to rotate the ship 180. I like it. I think it's overpriced. And I think even in the context of Alliance, paying 5 points for this tech is too much. I think it's a great ability, but it's going to be tough to make it all happen. All right, you're going to see a little transition, and I will be back to talk missions. And the last part of Alliance is our setup guide. Well, for this, each player is a Klingon captain and begins the campaign with 4 XP already spent on captain skill. Well, that's handy. Each player has 10 XP to spend, 14 total. So that's different than box 1, where you had 6 XP and you couldn't spend any of it on captain skill. You must spend all of your starting XP before your first mission. So initially, each player commands a Cavort or a Vorcha class vessel. Right? Nice ships to get going. And then there's rules for bringing up Federation ships. So let's take a look at those. You can choose to play as a Federation captain, and there's 2 possible options. One, if you're new, right, you just bought box 2, but you still want to play a Federation. You can begin a new Federation captain in command of an Akira or Excelsior class with 4 XP already spent on captain skill and an additional 10 XP to spend, just like a Klingon ship. Or you can bring in your Federation captain you used in part 1, carrying them forward into this campaign. These captains need at least 14 XP, meaning shaded boxes. Now, you got 6 to start. There's the potential. Let's look at this. The potential for lots more. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, maybe even 23, depending on how many players you played with. For me, doing a 4-player game, so 22. So to come back and say, okay, only 14, you know, this is kind of a baseline minimum. Now, bringing in other ships, Brel, Katinga, Kavort, Vorcha, Nagvar. You can't play with a Raptor. There's not enough flexibility here. You can't bring in Ducat's Bird of Prey. That's just weird. That's a Dominion bug. You can't do that. You can't. What else can't you do? Well, no, I guess you can. You can do Ducat's Bird of Prey. Well, but it's a generic. You can't do um, Chang's Bird of Prey. That generic. I'd probably let it slide. I think it would fit in. Uh, it would fit in. You'd be fine. It would probably make for a tougher campaign, but it would fit in. And then the same Federation ships have stayed the same here with their required captain skill. Now, note that with Min 4, that does open up the Excelsior, Akira, Defiant, Saber, Miranda, Oberth, Nova as standard starting ships. Does it change a whole lot? I don't know. Defiant might be a nice include. Necessary? Probably not. But yeah. And then the only other thing of note is that you have to stay faction specific. Federation or Klingon, and Federation cards go on Federation ships, Klingon cards go on Klingon ships. Even though we saw in the Dominion War, Jadzia going on Federation or going on Klingon ships and Worf and etc. Just for the purposes of this, these are not our hero cards. These are our generic grunts fighting in the war. So just gotta stick with that. The last thing I wanted to show off are some of the recommended builds. So Cavort with Helmsman, Reactor Vent, Reckless Assault, or Operations Officer, Secondary Cloaking Coil, Strafing Run, Glory to the Empire, Torpedo Fusillade, Weapons Officer. We talked about some of this earlier. So Vortshaw, Converging Fire, First Officer, Targeting Array, Eye for an Eye, Forward Battery, Reinforced Hull, with an XP for you to spend how you would like. Glory to the Empire, Photon Torpedo, Science Officer, Secondary Relays. Lots of potential. And of course, you can always build how you like. These are good recommendations and choices that you get to make. So when we can see a Dominion Freighter token here, just like we got a Runabout token in box 1. So all that being said, I'm super excited to see what comes up here. Really looking forward to these missions, and everything should be out March 1st, I believe is the date. So, shipping delays might happen, and I know Europe gets things 3 to, well, maybe 2 to 5-6 weeks later. Unfortunately, that's shipping these days. But yeah, nevertheless, this shall be fun, and many great adventures and stories shall be told. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and until next time, keep brushing up your game. Take care.